Welcome everybody to the 2020 MWF Affiliate Roundtable. This is something that I've wanted to do for some time, something I'm very excited about, very passionate about, and that is our affiliates here at MWF. We're fortunate to have some amazing organizations that we get to partner with, that we get to support. And here with me is an awesome panel. You're going to hear from them in just a little bit. I do want to recognize that Frank Salazzi, our new MWF Executive Director, is joining us, and he'll be providing color commentary, and we'll be asking him some questions and getting his insights and vision. And we're really grateful to have all of you joining us for our membership meeting. If you're tuning in, this is the 2020 membership meeting. And I should have introduced myself before I started. My name is Marcus Strange. I'm the Program and Partnership Director for the Montana Wildlife Federation. And to kick off this affiliate roundtable, what I'd like to do is just go through a very brief presentation, about 3 to 5 minutes. And this is something that I share with potential affiliates. The reason I want to share this is it goes over what the affiliate program is and why it's important to MWF. So we're gonna switch over to that real quick. Okay. This will go into presentation mode. There we go. Okay. So basically this presentation goes through 4 main points. And the main point is who we are. I already introduced myself. That's me before I converted to a traditional bow. I now hunt with a traditional bow instead of a bow with training wheels, as Tim would say. MWF, who we are. We've been around since 1936. We support hunters and anglers, and we elevate habitat, wildlife, and access issues, and work to represent sportsmen and women across the state of Montana. It's an awesome organization. I'm honored to be working with this organization. As I said, we work on wildlife issues. Here are some of the major issues that we've worked on throughout the last year. You've probably heard about some of these if you've participated in our previous panels. And if you participate in future panels, we're definitely going to cover some of these wildlife issues. Habitat is a key piece of work that we do. These are some of the habitat specific issues that we work on, and we work on a lot of these with our affiliates, which is fantastic. And then access is a huge issue. This is a very pared down list. There are a lot of access issues that we're working on, but these are some of the ones that we've been working on over the last year. Now, the meat of what we want to talk about today is our affiliates. We love our affiliates, and our affiliates are the backbone of the work that we do. It's a true partnership, and when I talk to groups about becoming an affiliate, I talk about this is not MWF telling you what to do or you telling us what to do. It's about us working together to identify important areas for collaboration. And a big part of that is making sure that our affiliates represent a diverse group of individuals. And we've really done a lot of work to improve upon that diversity and make our affiliate network a truly big tent program. So some of the things that affiliates benefit from when they work with MWF are things like our affiliate grant program. This is something we started about 2 years ago, and we've been giving grants to our affiliates to do habitat, access, and wildlife projects, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Resolution and policy setting is very important. During this membership meeting, affiliates will have an opportunity to present resolutions to the MWF board to help MWF set policies and to vote on these resolution and policy improvements, changes, implementations. And then these last things, legislative support with the legislature here in Montana in the next couple months. We really like to partner with the affiliates to make sure good legislation is passed and that we do good work up at the legislature. And then myself and Eric Lewis and Sonia Smith who work full-time for MWF, as well as Alec and Nick. We all try to provide capacity support to our affiliates. So that's things like showing up and flipping burgers at your events, helping you get your website up and going, helping you with membership recruitment, whatever kind of capacity support we can provide, we try to provide it. And then there's other things such as our newsletter, and then conservation work that we help our affiliates with as well. What it takes to be an affiliate is pretty simple. We had a really complicated affiliate dues structure when I first started, and we simplified it to just $100 a year, list of key officials, and a few other odds and ends, but it's pretty basic now. It's not as complicated, and that's really helped with that big tent model that I talked about earlier. The affiliate grant program is something we're really proud of, and it's something that we're working on being able to give more to. We want this program to really benefit the affiliates, and so broadening the scope of things that you can apply for is something that we're focused on moving forward into 2020. And a new component to the affiliate program, and this is something that we've soft launched and we're going to be doing a bigger push at the beginning of the year, is our Montana Business and Wildlife Alliance. This is a affiliate program, or a branch of our affiliate program for businesses. So if you're a business owner who cares about wildlife, this is something you'd be interested in. Really what it does is it organizes conservation-minded businesses, and it helps promote and elevate the conservation work that they do. So we're really excited about that. And if you have questions, definitely reach out to me. We're going to be doing more with this and talking more about this at the beginning of the year. We're just kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point. So really excited about that. And it's going to be a great addition to our already established conservation network. This business network is going to be just a really, really cool component to that. And I just want to wrap up by highlighting our current affiliates. These are our 18 current MWF affiliates. We're really, we're just super lucky to be working with these folks, and we're lucky to have a few of them represented here today. And I'm going to shut up here in just a second, and we're going to hear from them. But as you look at this list, our affiliates come from all walks of life, all corners of the state, and represent a really diverse set of interests. And that is powerful. That is why MWF is able to do the incredible work that we are known for doing. It's, we have a staff of 8 people, and we're able to do, quite a bit with those 8 people. But the scope of work we're able to do is drastically improved because of these affiliates. And I'm really lucky that I get to work with them on a daily basis. So if you are in an area where one of these affiliates is located, I highly encourage you to become a member of these affiliates, get involved with the good work that they're doing. If you aren't close to one of them, I just want to highlight that the Traditional Bow Hunters of Montana, PLWA, Northern Rocky Mountain Grotto, Montana Artemis Alliance, and the Western Bear Foundation, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Those are statewide organizations. So you don't need to be geographically located close to one of the other groups. If you, say live in an area where you don't have a local affiliate, these statewide affiliates are a great way to get involved with the affiliate work that MWF is doing. So, and then I always say, follow us on social media, follow MWF on social media to stay up to date with our affiliates, because we do like to promote them as much as possible online. And then real quick, I'll pause. That's my contact information. You can get a hold of me, and that's it. So we've been joined by a few other folks, and I'm really excited to hear from all of them now. So with that being said, sorry, went back to that screen again. We'll close that out. Alrighty. Let's start this roundtable discussion. I'm super excited to hear from you all. Thank you for allowing me the time to talk real quick and talk a little bit about what the affiliate program is to me. Let's go around. Just to keep this organized, I'm going to call on you in the order that I see you on my screen. That way we're not talking over each other. And just real quick, if you could, share with the group or the listeners who you are and which affiliate you represent. And just give us a real quick synopsis of what your mission is. That'd be a really helpful way to start. So we'll start with Drew. You're the first one up on my screen.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Marcus, for making this possible. My name is Drew Haynes, and I am a board member and the director of social media and outreach for PLWA, which is Public Land Water Access Association. And as Marcus said, we are a statewide organization. We have been around since the 80s, really actively, and we're a part of the group that helped establish the Stream Access Law in 1985, which is in our Constitution in Montana and gives everyone pretty much access to all the waters in Montana, and lets everyone kind of fish and makes them our waters and not privatized waters and streams. And then later on with the 2009 Bridge Access Law. So our mission is to keep access open to public lands and waters in Montana.
All righty, thank you, Drew. Tim Roberts.
I'm Tim Roberts. I'm president of the Traditional Bow Hunters of Montana. And our mission is to promote and there's another P word, I can't remember what it is, but it's to promote traditional bow hunting across the state. And we're pretty successful. We've got Marcus to pick up a stick bow after visiting a few of our banquets for a couple of years. He finally picked one up, and we just got to get him to change his picture. He's still packing around that compound. I'd like to thank Marcus and the Wildlife Federation for putting this on. This is a great deal. The Wildlife Federation has helped us out immensely. We're putting together a series of videos right now that will help all of us combat the crossbow bill that we know was more than likely going to come up in the next legislative session. And we're extremely grateful to have the Wildlife Federation and some other affiliate groups to help us put that together this year.
Thanks, Tim. Rachel Buswell.
Thanks, Marcus. Good to speak with you again. So I represent the Montana Artemis Alliance, which is a group of 5 women here in the state of Montana, promoting women's voices in conservation across the state. So we are actually a pilot program, and I think one of the newer affiliates with Montana Wildlife Federation. Like just a couple months ago, we joined forces. So my role in that, and with the other co-leads that we are on that alliance with, just really promoting education and connection, and just information for women across the state to get women connected, get women out in the field, and to get our voices heard, also on some of the legislative platforms. So that's what we do.
Thanks, Rachel. JW.
Good afternoon, everyone. Drew, it's good to see you again. Haven't seen you for a while. It's good to see everyone, actually. Laurel Rod and Gun. Laurel Rod and Gun has been around since, gosh, I wonder if it wasn't someplace between 1910 and 1920 is when it was roughly formed. We focus, our conservation committee is growing at Laurel Rod and Gun, and we are getting some newer faces in that conservation committee. Tim, we will help with that crossbow bill when it hits the floor of the state capitol, and we won't be we'll be against that bill as well. But we have some exciting things at Laurel. We stay really involved in the wildlife disease issues, and we're actually kind of the bad boys of the bunch, to be honest with you, because we speak very frank at commission meetings, and it's not just the brucellosis and the chronic wasting, but we have a host of wildlife diseases out there that boy, I tell you what, that's almost opening a Pandora's box with all of the diseases out there that could really knock the shit out of our public trust wildlife. But Laurel Rod and Gun, we've been around a long time. And Marcus, I think when you said I'm the senior member of the affiliate bunch, I think you meant I'm the oldest, and I am. So we'll just continue that and go forward.
I should have said oldest and best looking. I apologize.
Well, oh my gosh, that's quite a lie. You better not lie like that.
Let's see. Next on my screen is Joe Offer.
Yeah, hey, and I'm the executive director, Joe Offer, the executive director with the Friends of the Missouri Breaks Monument, and our mission statement is to protect and preserve the Upper Missouri Breaks River National Monument, which is a pretty special place for me and obviously for Montanans and everyone across the country and beyond. And we're actually a very new affiliate, new enough that we weren't even on that list earlier, but we're statewide as well, and we work generally with our goals are through advocacy, education, and stewardship. And a lot of the stuff that we do this last year has been some stewardship events in the monument. And one of the great things about being an affiliate is we've had a lot of help from all MWF staff, which has been outstanding.
Well, I feel sheepish. Geez, I double checked that list, Joe. I apologize. I'm going to go, as soon as we are done here, I'm going to go update that list. Oh, man. Well, that just tells you guys how quickly the affiliates are growing that I didn't even realize that you weren't on there. So again, my apologies. Let's see. Clinton Nagel. Oh, Clint, I think you're muted there. There you go.
I thought I was going to catch me. Good to see you, Marcus. This is the first time that I've been on one of these calls with MWF. I'm the new president since last November of the Gallatin Wildlife Association. We've been around since 1976, and basically our mission statement is to be a voice for wildlife and for hunters and non-hunters alike. We have both in our organization. Basically, we deal with issues in Southwest Montana. The Custer-Gallatin National Forest has been a big issue in the last couple years since the Forest Service has done the revision plan. I just found out today that our objections have been accepted by the Forest Service. So we will continue on in that process. And we have about approaching 50 members now, which is the most we've had in quite some time, I believe. So, and we have more money in our bank account than we've had in some time. So we're getting stronger slowly, but we'll get there. I thought we were the bad boys on the block because we have a tendency to stick our noses in where a lot of people don't want us to, and it sometimes we don't play well with others. Let's put it that way.
That's okay not to play well with others from time to time. I get that.
I refer to all of our affiliates as passionate conservationists. So
there you go.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that summary. Andrew, we haven't met before, so I'm going to let you say your last name. That way I don't mispronounce it.
Sure, thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Gorder. I'm a representative board member of Hellgate Hunters and Anglers in Missoula. Our mission is to protect, enhance, and restore wildlife habitat and preserve and promote access and hunting and fishing opportunities in Western Montana. I've been with the Hellgate Hunters and Anglers board since 2017, and this is the first affiliate roundtable I've participated in. So happy to meet and see you all and learn more. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you jumping on today. And last but not least, Mr. Jim Vashro, who was peeling, I'm guessing, Missouri Breaks mud off of his tires?
Miles City mud.
Miles City mud.
I was out there with Sonia somewhere. Anyway, welcome to everybody. My name is Jim Vashro. I'm currently the president of Flathead Wildlife Incorporated. And Flathead Wildlife's been in existence since, I believe, 1954. I haven't been with them quite that long, so I'm not like JW. And our mission and goals are to preserve and protect our hunting and fishing heritage, preserve wildlife and preserve wildlife habitat. And we really work very hard on preserving public access to public lands. We've had a number of major cases up here, unfortunately, often involving litigation, and we've been pretty successful in reopening some access. And then last of all, we work very hard to get youth involved in the outdoors. And we do one program called Preserve the Tradition. We'll start up pretty quickly here, featuring first-time hunters with game from the field, and try to build a sense that it's a great activity and get kids involved out there in the wild. So I'm also on the board of the Wildlife Federation. It's been great. So thank you.
I did it too, man. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that introduction. And Frank, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody and say a few words?
Thanks, Marcus. Thanks for letting me crash this party. I have met some of you. I haven't met all of you. I haven't actually met most of you. I know JW and Jim, and I've spoken to Tim on the phone. But I took over for Dave Chadwick this summer as executive director here in Helena. It's great to work with Marcus and Sonia and the team at Montana Wildlife Federation, as well as the board. And I want to work more closely with each of you and your members. We're going to be there on the crossbow bill. Clint, I had a nice 2-hour coffee with Jim Bailey, and we're going to be there with you on this guy right here. Andrew was out shooting clays with some of your folks up at Polson, and I have to improve my shot, but it's really great to be here. I want to shut up and listen and learn. That's a better use of my time than talking usually. So, Marcus, take it away. And just really appreciate everybody being here as part of this, part of the panel tonight, because I do want to learn. Thank you.
Marcus, if I could just make a statement, it's really cool to see the diversity of affiliates represented here and all the interests they bring to the board. So pretty cool.
Jim, I really appreciate you saying that. And that is something that, in my time, I didn't talk a lot about this, but for all of you, here today and everybody listening, when I started with MWF, I was a central field rep, and right before Dave Chadwick left, we created this role for me, and that's to work with and elevate and support the affiliates. And that was one of the things that I really wanted to work on, was the diversity of interest represented by our affiliates. And so, and that's, really captured in the fact that we have Rachel here with a group that specifically works with and elevates the interests of, women in the outdoors, all the way to, all the way to a landscape specific group like Joe's, who's working in the Missouri Breaks area specifically, to Jim and JW and Clint and Andrew. Your groups are more of the traditional rod and gun clubs. So we have a lot of diversity here. Hopefully we continue to add to that. And that's one of the goals definitely for the next year, is to continue to broaden the tent and invite more people in who represent, all the great facets of the outdoors. So thank you for noting that, Jim. I appreciate that. With that said, a couple things. So I want to tackle two questions. The first question I want to tackle is, where's there room for growth in the affiliate program? I think that's a really important thing to talk about. I've got a lot of great feedback from a lot of you that we have room for growth. And then we'll end by talking about some of the things that you all think we're doing well. But I want to make sure that we get time to cover how can we improve the affiliate network, the affiliate program. What I would ask during this discussion is, one, that you be very honest. Frank and I have thick skin. We want to get the feedback, because if we don't get the feedback, we can't make the improvements, and we want to make the improvements. We want to support you all. We want to do better. So please be honest, be brutally honest. We're happy to take the feedback. The other thing I would ask is that we talk about the program itself. There's a lot of issues, whether it's elk management or, you pick your conservation issue that we could go down. There's time to talk about that. Specifically, what I want to talk about today is how we make this program and this partnership work better for you. So I will just start by saying that I think about a year and a half ago or so, we were not real great about getting feedback and soliciting feedback from you all on specific issues. We partnered together from time to time, but we didn't go and say, hey, we need to rewrite the elk management plan. What do you all think we should do in that? So we're taking steps to fix that. We're taking steps to try to do better there. And I will acknowledge we have a long way to go. So I want to talk about those kind of things. What are those areas that we have room for growth in? And I think, so we're not talking over each other, the best way to do this is if you physically raise your hand, and I'll old school call on you and unmute yourself, and then we can go from there. So it looks like Tim got his hand up first. So we'll start with Tim. Go ahead and kick us off.
Well, just something really simple in the terminology that you're using right there is you said, how can you make this better for you? And I think that our perspective is a little bit skewed on this, as a lot of the issues that are out there, we all share very similar concerns about. It doesn't matter if it's traditional bow hunting issues or chronic wasting disease, the elk management plan. We all share extremely similar concerns. And so instead of saying, what can we do to make it better for you? I think that we should look at it from a viewpoint is, what can we do to make it better for us?
Do you want to kind of expound on that a little bit? I think I understand what you're saying, but maybe you could say a little more.
Well, I don't know, it kind of goes back a little bit. I'm not a man of the words. There's only one way to tell a person to go to hell, and that's 3 words. So I apologize for not having a lot of ways to expound upon this, but the issues that are there concern all of us. And so I think when you say, what can we do to make this better for you? That still kind of keeps us as separate entities. And even though we are separate entities, we're all in this together. And so we need to be looking at us versus you. And that's what I think. Is that a little more clear than mud?
I get where you're coming from now. JW.
Tim, thank you for that. We can say all day long that there's a huge difference between the Billings Laurel area folks and the Hellgate folks and the Bozeman folks and so on and so forth. But we all are deeply passionate about public lands, access to those public lands and water. We're passionate about elk management plans. Like we often say at Laurel Rod and Gun, we really don't care if it's mule deer in southwestern Montana or sage grouse in northern Montana, we should be concerned with that because it's our heritage. And Tim, that was a great point, because we coalesce around that, and I'll build on that just a little bit, if I may. One thing that I think brings us together is the legislature and receiving information from the Federation to just the basic information on bills, whether they be good or bad, and even a statement from the Federation at the statewide level, which generally is crafted with people from throughout the state. I mean, the Wildlife Committee is. But I think build on that legislative, being able to have us coalesce around that legislature, because that thing kicks us in the ass all the time. And it's almost like the more you know, the better off we'll all be. And I don't care if it's Hellgate or Laurel. We care about the same things.
JW, I just want to make sure I'm understanding and reflect back on what you're saying. So are you proposing that the model that we've used for getting information out during the legislative session to continue that when the legislature is not in session, to continue to distribute information and keep people involved? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And if there are the mechanics there to make it more streamlined, make it better, make it quicker for this fast-moving world, that would be great. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying is, and I've seen improvement every legislative session from back in the days of old. Continue along that path, and just the more we all know, the better off we all are together, because we're in this together.
Excellent, thank you. Back to Tim. Oh, sorry. Let's go Drew, Rachel, and then Tim.
Yeah, I really agree with what everyone has said so far. And I think one of the great things that you guys have done is to cover issues that are important to an array of organizations in the state of Montana, and to do it comprehensively. And then with the affiliate program, to bring people together, because a holistic approach is really the only way that I think these important issues are going to be things that we succeed on. And when you look at things like conservation, when you look at things like land access, when you look at things like wildlife management and the threats to them, even if you're a bigger organization, which many of us are not, certainly we do a lot of big work, but we're really small. We have one part-time employee, and people like JW are extending themselves out to multiple different organizations. We need help. So I think one thing that would continue to help us would be if groups like yours, Marcus, could bring all of us together for meetings like this webinar and other times, and say, okay, well, we're fighting a case for access to the Missouri Breaks. If you have someone like Joe who has a group of people who are really interested in that and could lose access to that, we could work together on that. And if we're doing another case where, the crazies, and we're worried about a conservation plan that might lose access to Sweetgrass Creek, we can work together on that to advocate for a plan that really is a solid plan, not just, a possibility that won't lose total access and things like that. So I think maybe bringing everyone together, sort of following on what other people have said and saying, okay, we're stronger together, where do we align? And being that sort of node to connect all of us would be so invaluable. And you've already been doing that well, but having it be more formal, that would be something we as a smaller organization with less capacity would just really love, I think.
Drew, that's a fantastic idea. Just real quick, show of hands. I just want to take the opportunity while I have you all here. Because of the pandemic, we've been doing more of these Zoom meetings. If we were to do something like this call that we're doing right now with the affiliates, if we were to do something like this every 6 months or so, is that something all of your organizations would want to take advantage of, to do exactly what Drew is saying, where okay, I'm seeing hands up. Okay, we're duly noted. Okay, Frank and I are taking notes right now. This is fantastic. Thank you for speaking up and saying that, Drew. Yeah, that's something that we can definitely make happen. And I think that the ability to collaborate with each other would be incredibly powerful. So we're going to get that going. All right. Rachel.
Drew actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say something very similar in just the terms of, so the Artemis Alliance is a very new organization. We're not even a full year into being formed yet. And me personally, although I've had lots and lots of experience with certain issues in Montana, just with my history of, being born here and teaching hunter ed here and all of those things, I've not been involved on the legislative side. And I just remember like being new to kind of the legislature piece of these types of organizations. And I think I was maybe a month or two in the Alliance and I got an email like, will you sign a letter supporting such and such, initiative? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. So I had to go research it and form an opinion. So I'm not going to just sign, so I think having a little bit more like when you're a new member and you're a new affiliate, and I'm going to totally throw myself on the stake there and say that's me, like I'm brand new to that. I'm deeply invested in what the organization that Joe's involved with. I've hunted a lot in central Montana and I think that's super cool. And I would have loved to connect with Joe within just a couple of weeks of getting started so we can maybe, utilize my knowledge and his knowledge and we can help each other out. And, Andrew, I live in Missoula too, and I have not met you yet. And so I would love to, if there's a time we could get together, stuff like that, just the connection between the affiliate groups. I think it'd be easier to come in and start making that reach a little better, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And this is the great thing about having this discussion is that it's so simple. I mean, I would love to do that. I love that kind of stuff. And yeah, let's make it happen. Let's start collaborating more. Let's start talking more amongst ourselves. Tim Roberts, I believe you were next in the queue here to talk.
Well, one good thing about this affiliate program that the Wildlife Federation has is it force is not a good word, but it puts us all, because we work with other organizations, it puts us outside of our own little private box, so to speak. And that's really a good thing. Things on the communication side, I think we could do a little bit better. Like last time I talked with you on the phone, you mentioned that this upcoming legislative session, due to the stuff going on, might be budget only. And I mean, if we, knew, I know it's still up in the air, we don't know, but if we knew more of these things, like we got our videos that we're kind of contemplating when do we turn them out, so they don't lose their luster and things like that. Things like information like that is really helpful. And we get, the more insights we get to what's going on with the legislative sessions and upcoming sessions and things like that, the more better off we can all be prepared to go against the things that are bad and support the things that are good.
Yeah. All right. Before I come to you, JW, is someone who hasn't had a chance to share, have anything they want to share? I definitely want to hear from you, JW. I just want to make sure everybody else has a chance before we come back to you. No? Oh, Jim, go ahead.
And thank you. And these are thoughts that I've shared previously with Marcus and Frank, but up until recently, it seemed like the affiliates only existed to sign on to letters. And I will say it's improved greatly with folks like Marcus and some of the field representatives, where there is a lot more interchange. And also at a lot of the business meetings and that, affiliates weren't necessarily recognized or allowed to talk about their activities. And when the few times that happened, I learned of some great activities that were going on that we would like to pick up ourselves. So one more, as I said, there's been some great improvements in terms of the grants and field representatives. It seems like following this, increasing the visibility of affiliates on the MWF website would be an area for growth. There's a link to or a page for the links to the affiliates, but there's really no place for affiliates to say, hey, this is something great we're doing. You might look at it as a program you can do, or we can use some help or that kind of thing. And so that networking is, I think, very important and could be a great service that MWF could offer. Thank you.
Clinton, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of want to second what Jim said. I've only been president since November of last year, but I've been a member of Gallatin Wildlife since probably 2013 or so. And so during that period of time, I know within our group, we've had, as attending board meetings, we've had several discussions about some of our frustration over the years with MWF as far as feeling that we were not being recognized, that we weren't being asked to provide our input or anything of that sort. And to be honest with you, you said to be blunt, to be honest with you, there's been a time or two we thought about not renewing our membership with MWF because of that. But we've hung in there. One thing that was a great disappointment was a couple years ago, the MWF, as well as the National Wildlife Federation, I guess, I'm not sure about that, they decided to join on with the Gallatin Forest Partnership concerning the revision plan on the Custer-Gallatin National Forest. We were very much against that partnership, their proposal. And it seemed like the Montana Wildlife Federation came in and gave their, came out with their support of that partnership without even consulting the Gallatin Wildlife Association. You know, the Custer-Gallatin National Forest is right in our own backyard. We weren't even asked to give our opinion. And that set some people pretty frustrated. And I would say that in the future, that if things like this come to an issue again, that you make an effort to actually talk to the affiliates to see what their opinion is on certain issues, instead of just overriding, you know, the process.
Thank you. That's really good feedback. And Frank and I have talked a lot about that, and we're trying to develop some best practices for soliciting policy recommendations and consultation with the affiliates. More of a formalized kind of process for that, so that we don't do exactly what you just highlighted here, is jump into an issue without consulting the local affiliate. And that's fantastic feedback. And I appreciate you being honest. I mean, we need that. We need to hear that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. JW, I think you had your hand up.
Well, just a couple of things. Clinton, yeah, I'm picking up what you're laying down on the plan that the Federation signed on to. You know, I guess I would just ask everyone on this call and all of the affiliates, we are one federation, and we may disagree. I think it's best to disagree within a circle. I mean, we can disagree all we want on calls like this, and that's a great thing. That's very helpful. And if it ever gets to where if we disagree that bad, we can go to the parking lot and we can fight like hell over it. But kind of keep it to within the federation, you know, in that smaller circle, and not let the outside world know that we are disenfranchised with our neighboring affiliates or what have you. But yeah, we can disagree all day long. I mean, us in Eastern Montana, we had disagreements left and right. But we still are one federation. And then I wanted to jump on something I think Rachel said, being new, and being new to the legislative process, and coming from an old guy, our process for that I think has improved phenomenally. So it's like came forward at warp speed. We used to send out notices. SB 444, bad bill. Okay, sure. Now, Rachel, for people like you want to verify that, but sometimes when we send out, we send out more information now, but when we send out SB 444, and that's a fictitious number for right now, it's been vetted, like with our wildlife committee. I mean, we have a lot of talented people on that committee, and they have a lot of history on that, and things are vetted there. So when Rachel, when you receive something from the Federation that says this bill is a bad bill, there's a pretty good chance that you can trust that, and you can verify it all you want. And another thing to make the process more streamlined, and I think I've seen this too, instead of sending out SB 444, bad bill, okay? Now I see some hyperlinks in there, and I don't know, Drew, is that the correct terminology for the technology? But hyperlinks to click on, and you can send an email to the committee. And it's all right there. But if you're wanting people to go ahead and look for committee members, that's very cumbersome. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that I would do that much anymore. But when we send out that information, send out the hyperlinks with it, and Rachel and Drew and all of you folks, and even us old guys, we can click on that, and we can get messages to the Capitol in no time flat, and we can jam up that Capitol email system and their phone system if we really want, and we have before. So. Rachel, I'll tell you what, you have just as much experience in this as anybody else here on this call. And that experience is a very passionate conservationist. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you aren't. That's bullshit.
Well, I'll jump in and say that the thing that I take away from this conversation is the fact that we have, some people, they trust us deeply, and that's great. Other people want more information. And I think, we're going to find a way to strike that balance and make sure that we get the appropriate information out to everybody. And I'm glad that there are people that trust us and take us at our word. And for those who, want to become educated and want to know more, we're going to find a way to make sure that we continue to get that communication out there. One thing JW said that spoke to me and that I want to reflect back on is this idea of disagreeing. And I think that's the really powerful thing about this affiliate network, is that if we have one thing that we can agree on, one area of commonality where we can work together, that's really all it takes to be an affiliate. Quite frankly, I'm sure Joe is tired of all the emails of issues that don't really affect the Missouri Breaks Monument. But we care about the Missouri Breaks Monument, and he cares about the Missouri Breaks Monument. And that's the thing we agree on, and that's the thing that we're going to find a way to work on together. And so what I tell people when we talk about affiliation and, the potential for disagreement, because we're going to disagree from time to time, is, let's talk about it. Let's hash it out. We may disagree at some point, but I guarantee you we're going to turn the corner the next day and there's going to be something where we agree and we want to work together. And so that's the thing that we try to focus on and find that common ground. And what I'm hearing from you all is that we need to do a better job of communicating about that common ground. and working together on that common ground. And I've got already a page of notes over here of some ideas and some things that we can improve on. So thank you for speaking your mind and speaking up. Let's keep this party going. What are some other observations you've made in areas for growth and improvement with the affiliate network? Rachel, please.
So this is something I've actually talked to Marsha Brownlee a couple times on, through my work with Artemis. I started as an Artemis ambassador, and just also had the opportunity to go through the Leadership Montana program just this last year, which was not affiliated with any of this stuff, but it's an excellent program on the state of Montana and things that are near and dear to all of our hearts. And I'm just curious, Marcus, I know you mentioned a lot about how diversity has been a huge part of your initiative and what you're looking for and how to broaden the tent and make the tent bigger. And I'm just curious if there's any moves to get the tribal voice in any of the affiliate programs, to reach out to the tribal people and see, I know it is a little bit different just with how they're structured, but I think they have a lot to share and a lot of input that's really valuable. Just thoughts on that.
Rachel, that's a fantastic question. I'm really grateful that you asked it because yes, we are currently working to improve in that area. That's definitely an area for some growth. We're far from perfect in that, and we need to do a better job of it. Prior to the pandemic, I was actually taking some road trips and meeting in person, and that's now switched to over the phone conversations with different representatives from tribal focused nonprofits, agency folks, and just activists in general. I think it would be phenomenal if we could get some of the nonprofit, non-government organizations that care about wildlife and hunting and access issues from some of the tribal nations to become affiliates. We don't have any real strong leads for that. So I guess this is my call out to anybody listening. If you are a member or you work with a conservation group from one of the tribes, or you're passionate about this issue, reach out. We'd love to talk to you and figure out a way to support you in the work that you're doing. Frank, would you like to add anything to that?
Okay, it's a great question. And Marcus, I think you covered it pretty well. I will say, as far as diversifying Montana Wildlife Federation, what we hope to do for this legislative session, not just in Montana, but also with the new Congress and when the federal government reconvenes in January, like to, and I think Marcus put this out in one of the affiliate newsletters, we're looking for some paid fellows or some paid interns to help bring up the next generation of Montana conservationists in a way that really speaks to our values of equity and justice. So I've reached out to a representative of the CSKT tribe. I'm looking for others. I don't know how many we're going to be able to provide a stipend, maybe even some housing here in Helena. Should the legislature actually be meeting here? If they're not, if it's going to be dispersed, then that really speaks to our need to have geographic diversity for our fellows in all parts of Montana, so that they can be there and meet with legislators and constituents in person to advocate for wildlife and habitat and public land and access. And we very much want to diversify our team, and with an eye towards, seeding the next generation of conservationists and stewards in Montana. So we want to work with all of you on that. And we're going to need to leverage your relationships to find good folks for that. And
I'll put a final pin in the MWF perspective on diversifying and broadening the tent. I can't say who they are because we're in talks with these groups, but I've been really fortunate to have some fantastic conversations over the last couple months with several different organizations that will significantly help diversify our affiliate network, both in terms of their focus and the people that they represent. And that's very exciting. So, you know, in the next couple months, I'm hoping that we'll be able to announce some new affiliates that will, you know, represent some diversity of interest as well as diversity of people, which is really exciting. So we'll just throw that teaser out there for you. You can watch Sonia post things on social media and get the word out as those come to fruition. Let's pivot down to Tim. I saw your hand up. Now you're frozen.
Yeah,
with your
just a quick comment. What's that?
Sorry, you were frozen there for a second.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Is there a way we could have, and I don't know if this would be a good thing or not, but Rachel typed something on the screen a little while ago about contact information. So is there a way, and would it be beneficial to this group if we had a more direct link of communication with all the affiliates instead of us to you and you to wherever else? I mean, that might, I don't know, that might speed things up. It might alleviate some concerns like Clinton mentioned earlier and things like that. If we, I don't know, had a more direct link of communication between us and the other affiliates versus just a direct link of communication to you.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is the great thing about having these conversations is that's such a simple thing. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, but absolutely. I'm going to connect you all as soon as we finish with this call. You should be talking to each other. You should be networking with each other. I think it's just my old habits from working in government to not share emails. So I was BCCing all of you, and now I'm like, why was I doing that? That's kind of silly. So I apologize for that. Yes, we're going to fix that as soon as we're done. You're all going to be able to network and connect with each other. So that's a fantastically easy fix. So we'll take care of that. Clinton, back to you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, there's not been too many good things resulting from this pandemic, but I think in a way communication, if nothing else, we learned that we have maybe more opportunities to communicate with one another than we knew before. You know, I think the pandemic has shown us a lot of problems in our society, but it has also showed us that our strong points and our weak points. And I think this is, I think this whole world of Zoom and other technologies like it, WebEx and others, have, if nothing else, have shown us that we can communicate probably easier than what we could have had before. So I think we ought to take advantage of it. I agree with what Tim said.
Awesome. That is actually, I just want to be respectful of everybody's time. We got 2 minutes here, but that's a really good takeaway from all of this is communicating better with each other and being more collaborative. That's the overarching thing that I'm taking away from this. Just want to provide an opportunity if there's any last thoughts anybody wants to share. Now's your chance. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, and looking at adding groups the one place we're really short, and when I look at affiliates and people that are active, is landowners, farmers, and ranchers. And so much of what we do hinges on them. Unfortunately, we tend to end up on opposite sides of the fence fighting. And if we could get together more often and work through things before it gets to that stage, it would be really helpful. And I'd like to hear their thoughts. So somehow get better communications with those kind of groups. And there are some good folks out there that'd be great to work with.
It's a great piece of feedback. And I'll just put this out here. I can't make everything happen, but if you have an idea like that, like the one that Jim just shared, and I just made a note for that because I think in my quest to grow the affiliate network, I've identified some groups like that, Jim, and we should circle up and talk about some of the ones that I've identified, and you may have some insights into them. But if you have ideas like this, you know, reach out to me. I love running with new ideas, and I'm not gonna shoot them down. We'll run with them, and we'll figure out a way to make it happen. So I've been taking, as I've said before, I've been taking extensive notes, and we will share those with you all. And let's continue this conversation. I think this was a good start. I want to look at this as a start of a conversation, definitely not an end point for continuing to collaborate and get to know each other better. I appreciate you all joining. I really appreciate all the work that you do, and let's continue to support each other, collaborate, and see growth in the work that we're able to do through that. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. To everybody watching, I appreciate you tuning in. We've got a big slate of events going on through this coming Tuesday. Go check out our online auction. It's pretty stellar. Our affiliates really stepped up and made some awesome donations. And you could win a trip down the Missouri Breaks, or you could win a fly rod. There may or may not be some artwork or whatnot. I lost track of everything. So go check out the silent auction. And I hope to see all of you at our business meeting. We're going to be voting on some important things. So hopefully your organizations will be represented at that business meeting. If you need information on that, please contact me. I can get that information to you. And with that being said, we'll bring this affiliate roundtable discussion to a close and look forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all very much. Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, everybody.